Hey, you, let's fight.
Them's fighting words.
Welcome to Fighting Words Podcast, and I'm your host, Devious Dave Rose. Thank you for joining us on this seminal event, the first episode of my new pro wrestling podcast. And as always, let's start off the show by showing our gratitude and appreciation for all those who have chosen to spend their time with us here today. We've got part of Generation Failure, the millennial himself. It's the Costanza. We also have AJ Raider and his partner in crime, the one and only Casey is Raw. We have a true intellectual gentleman, and quite renowned for his knowledge, the one and only King Meow Meow, a.k.a. Ryan the Heel, in the chat, and the one and only Latino Heat. Thank you very much for joining us here today. So, I've been meaning to do this for a while. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be a lot of AEW talk because I love AEW, All Elite Wrestling. But this will cover not just AEW, but a lot of the happenings in the pro wrestling world. So if you don't like pro wrestling, take a hike. But I'm being honest, this is what we're going to be covering. And I've been wanting to do this for a while because the retardation on social media through the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, has gotten to catastrophic levels. And, well, them's fighting words. Okay, let's fucking fight. Shout out to the Ghost from the Coast in the chat. But yes, I will be totally clear about my biases, that I'll be talking a lot about AEW here, but I certainly will, as I always have publicly and privately, criticize them where I feel it due. First and foremost, no calls until I choose, because I got a lot of notes to go through. Again, I've been planning on doing this basically. Well, WrestleMania week is what convinced me the excess levels of retardation out there, specifically of WWE drones, and they're called e-drones on the internet. Check it out. Hilarious. Huge. That it required somebody of my intellectual status to be able to dispel, discredit, and destroy these absolute knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing morons. Shout out to Geddy Lee's owl. Let's start again. Shout out to Geddy Lee's owl nose in the chat. But we have a lot of information to go through because I've been holding on and on to this. And here's another reason why I held off so long to do this stream. Is that last time, or I guess it was last Sunday, when I spoke to Nicky J. So be sure to check him out on his channel. He recommended that I watch, it was on Sunday. Yeah, I said Sunday. He recommended I watch Raw, WWE Raw, because I haven't watched in years, to reassess my stance on WWE, because he thought it might create some interest in me. And I wholeheartedly and honestly went into watching those 3 hours of Raw this past Monday with an open mind and with no biases and a desire, a real desire, to see something entertaining. I was greatly, greatly disappointed, Nikki. And for shame on you, at least 70 Hail Marys for that. And, you should make a donation to a charity or something because it's just unbelievable. And then, I can't remember who it was in Nikki J's chat. I think it was MC. But he's like, oh, that was the worst Raw in 3 weeks, blah, blah, blah. What else do I got to say? It's just more excuses from the stands. But let's get down to this. Before I do, Goes from the Coast in the chat says, damn, bro, I would have called in if I wasn't on the road to the gym. You can still, don't you have hands-free calling? I mean, them's fighting words. But let's get down to this. So I said, no, I'm not taking any Skype calls. Well, I'm not taking any calls for now. Let me know in the chat if you want to call in through StreamYards instead. I'm not a fan of it, but I'll use it if I need to. But yeah, no calls for the time being. If you want to get your word in on what I'm saying, donate. The link's right there, pinned in the chat. Donate. I'll play a nice little graphic, maybe some sound or song or something, and you can get your words in through, just like Janelle Grant. So, let's get to the list. Let's bring that up here. Okay, so let's go through the timeline of the just overload of fucking mental retardation that I've seen, and how and why it must be addressed. During the entire week, what they refer to as WrestleMania week, there was just pot shot after pot shot against AEW. Strange, because Triple H, the big nose, had said that basically they're just a developmental. They're just, and then you've got the absolute grifters, the failures, like Eric Bischoff, Vince Russo. There was a lot of people that came out and shit on AEW. And it's just, who was it? Cornette, that fucking carny piece of shit, saying that it was a mud show. I can't remember the exact term that he used. And this is hilarious, coming from a literal carny. And it's just so biased. And clearly there's intent with these sorts of statements. And you certainly can't count out the probability that they were explicitly instructed to take these jabs and to make these shots. And you wonder, why would you do that for a second-rate company that's going out of business? Or at least that's what they've told us for the last 5 years. Okay, so that's one thing that needs to be considered, is everyone who said AEW's dead, it's going to die, has been saying so for the last 5 years. Okay? You'd think that after a couple of years, they would have realized how fucking retarded they are, but clearly they haven't. So it is the duty of good men to comment about this and remind them of their station in life and their absolute lack of value as a human, an inhabitant on my planet. So, I watched the last match of WrestleMania, which was Cody winning the title, and I gotta say I was not impressed. It was lackluster. Sure, there were surprises. The stupid, was it Bloodline rule? Is just, okay, whatever. But it did nothing for me. And people were just spewing actually from their anus and their mouth this adulation for this WrestleMania. And by the way, if you have any sense to you, you'd realize that AEW Dynasty that just happened last weekend was well better than WrestleMania. But you got that. A lot of people, came out and said it was this great sort of event and stuff, and really, I don't think so. I'm not the only sane person on the internet, so there are other people that have actually said that they weren't impressed by WrestleMania 40. And yeah, so we got that, and then what happens is there's the announcement from AEW that they're going to finally release the backstage footage, which people had been commenting and rumoring on for months. And, you know, it's almost been a year since All In. And, you know, many people, including Nikki J, whose opinion I do respect, was saying, why didn't they release it earlier? Well, say you're AEW and you do release it almost instantly after. Then you're going to get the same bullshit of these E-drones that you got basically when they announced that they were going to release it, and then they released the video, especially prior to that release. You're going to be like, oh, well, they don't have to take these shots at WWE. This is just petty and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, totally ignoring, again, drones. It's a fucking cult. And, you know, a lot of cults have sexual abuse and human trafficking going on in them, so it makes perfect sense that they would support this cult. And meanwhile, they just literally ignore the last week, the WrestleMania week, where it was just constant attacks on AEW. Sorry, I'm also smoking a cigarette and taking a breath while I speak. So that was pure fucking retardation. And then they released the video, which proved that Punk was a liar. Let me see if I can find that in my notes. There's just so fucking many. Where did I have that? So Punk lied about Jack Perry coming up to his face. He lied that Jack made the first move. And very pussy of Punk, which, again, if you've been following the guy and don't have blinders on, you'd realize this is so consistent, and there's so many stories about this. Jack Perry had his hands in his fucking hair and then got Punk around his neck and so forth, and they had to be broken up. They say that he didn't lunge at Tony, but he did, because it's clearly visible there. And people are basically ignoring the fact that after that match, when CM Punk went back, that's when he confronted Tony in his locker room or whatever, the office, and that's where the whole he feared for his life thing came from. But I find it hilarious that these people are like, oh, you feared for your life? You feared for your life? I'm sure that you would shit your drawers if you were in his position and one of your wrestlers came and showed that they were violent. But so convenient for these fucking morons to ignore the fact that this isn't new with Punk. Okay? Has everyone forgotten about Colt Cabana? I haven't. Okay, this guy even said, Punk said publicly that he would not speak to this guy unless he had a lawyer present. And we knew that this guy, that Punk threw his longtime friend under the bus, basically forced it so that there was a lot of speculation about his employment, that he'd been kicked out of AEW. He'd been moved to ROH, but that was also to try to keep the peace. That is, again, what a good boss does, is to say, okay, well, I've got talent that clearly is knocking heads here, despite their long time history as friends. I want to continue moving forward, try to keep everyone professional and, separate them if I need to. And so people forget that. People, again, focusing on the video that was released. Meanwhile, there's stuff that nobody can talk about because the NDAs are there. What happened between the Bucks, Omega, Punk, Steel, Ace Steel, I believe his name is. It's people don't talk about that. Look at CM Punk's attitude, this entitled attitude that he's had, and I lost all respect for the guy after he went to the UFC. And during the weigh-in, just had the utter amount of disrespect for his opponent. This was his first fucking match. And it's not about the hubris of the promo and so forth. You can still be tough and be appreciative of your opponent. And the guy just he showed who he really was to me. And it was just disgusting. And then it happened again for the second time, 0-2. I saw some stupid sayings after the video was released with Perry. His UFC record is now erased because he got one, from a guy who had his hands in his hair, right? And other people justifying it, saying, well, like, he caused problems and stuff. Meanwhile, it's like, okay, so are you going to do that in your workplace? Somebody says things that make you feel sad, and you're going to basically attack them? Okay, the guy's lucky that he didn't get arrested. Oh, shout out to Bam 6956 in the chat. He makes also another point, which maybe is why this guy has the moniker Corporate Money Punk. Bam says Punk didn't care as he was getting paid $550,000 for one fight. King Meow Meow says it's rumored that Will Oz spray. Oh, sorry, that's supposed to say Osprey. I can't see what that says. Sorry, I'll have to wait till somebody says something. I don't want to interfere with the chat there, but yeah. Okay, so I'm just getting a little distracted here. I'm also smoking a joint, so light one up if you're down. But yeah, so we've seen that Punk was a liar. People are purposely omitting what they know about what happened with Cabana and the Bucks. Again, I lost total respect for the guy the first way in for the UFC. There's the comments online of people, and there's so many. That's why I had to fucking do this podcast. So many stupid people saying such stupid things that they needed to be corrected and scolded like the little infantile morons that they fucking are. So then this information comes out, and instantly you have this raucous amount of e-drones saying, oh, well, you didn't have to release it. That's so petty and stupid. And like, AEW's dead. This is going to kill the company. There's people saying that shit. That's it. He showed the video. AEW's dead. Again, it's 2024. And they've been saying that for the last 5 years. Take your L, dummy. But that video was going to destroy AEW. Final nail in the coffin, and it's over, baby. Meanwhile, here's the truth. This is what releasing the video helped with. And it was a correct decision, which other people actually have come out. I got to get to that list. Who have come out and basically said, we were wrong, Tony. We were wrong. Releasing the footage was 100% correct. First of all, Jack Perry is more over than ever in two companies which he led. He's more over in actually three companies, considering NJPW, but and they sold out of the Scapegoat shirt just so quickly. So did Perry's store, and hold on, stay focused, Dave. So and you've got there's this one shot from I think a Raw where a fan is holding up a sign that just says "Cry Me a River, Punk," and hey, I mean, seems like Perry's over there in the WWE. And they were saying, like, these dissenters were saying, oh, well, like, Punk appears 2 times in a week on 2 different shows and stuff. Yeah, but, and this is something else about the footage that many people didn't talk about, or it omitted entirely, was when the footage was initially played. And here's a criticism on Tony Khan and AEW, is that this footage was aired on TV, then everyone started posting it online, and then AEW starts copyright striking people to take the fucking video down. No, I will criticize that. See? Costanza, you fucking generation failure. You see, that is something that I hold as contention. That it should have been allowed to just proliferate through the internet. And again, more people needed to see the truth. So they basically, hold on, let me get focused here. They released the footage. People are, saying that AEW is dead. And so Jack Perry becomes moreover. It was, again, I talked about the merchandise and so forth. It was what was needed to reintroduce. Again, this is long-term storytelling. He went to NJPW and ripped up his contract, Jack Perry, his AEW contract. Again, it's all show, but it just progresses the story. This, showing the footage, allowed a great way to reintroduce the scapegoat character, which then led to the nuclear heat, as they call it, on the Elite for attacking Tony Khan. Again, long-term storytelling. Okay, so bygones be bygones. Jack Perry's back in AEW. This was this last Wednesday's Dynamite. And we get that little smirky smile from Jack Perry. And the Bucks come in with Okada. And they do the Meltzer driver on him. And it was just genius. And that led to Tony Khan wearing a neck brace on Thursday for the NFL draft and getting massive coverage on mainstream TV for what happened. And yes, some people would criticize sell the injury better, Tony, because he was moving his neck around. But again, during Dynamite, you got even his dad coming out. And this is a great way, actually, of allowing Tony Khan to sort of separate himself from AEW in the sense that he's written out, storyline-wise. And this will allow for, say, another EVP, Omega, who's coming back this Wednesday in his hometown of Winnipeg, to basically maybe put some boundaries on the whole thing. Maybe to, certainly to be countermeasure to the Bucks, because they're playing perfect douches, perfect heels, and obviously allied with Okada, and now Jack Perry. It's fucking brilliant. And some people aren't even considering this, that Sting might come back as an authority type figure, and you do have some rivalry and potentially great storylines that can come out from that. So airing the footage was totally appropriate. I like the timing much more than releasing it immediately after. I can see what some people are saying about releasing it immediately after, but I like this better. The Young Bucks did need a change. They were faces, they were heels, but this is really good. They're doing a bang-up job, especially because they're going with that arrogance slant, and they're using their full government names, and they're such great heels. And they're fucking, I love their wrestling. It's not all super kicks, but that is a big point of it. But I find them enjoyable. Back to the chat here. Let's see what the people are saying. AJ Raider says, hold on, Bischoff isn't a failure. He beat the WWF 83 weeks in a row. WCW made WWF compete. The only reason why WCW died was because Ted Turner lost power and Warner AOL didn't want wrestling. And I would say that's partially true, but it didn't last. The ratings got terrible. The show got terrible. They started to try to emulate more of WWE's sports entertainment style, and that was certainly not helpful. And basically, in I think 38 weeks, Dynamite is going to surpass the record number of shows that Nitro did. So again, we'll probably hear from people. Well, AEW's dead; it's going to die. Okay, well, I'm patient. I'm patient. Let's see if that actually happens, or if you're just going to look like a fucking fool again for the 6th year in a fucking row. King Meow says neck brace on the NFL draft day was genius and good for exposure to watch AEW. Exactly, somebody who gets it, and he certainly does because Ryan watches WWE, AEW, New Japan. I believe he watches TNA as well. Let us know if you watch any other ones. But yeah, he has a breadth of knowledge and certainly exposes himself to multiple promotions. So you can take his word at it. Time for me to just have a quick drink here. So much talking and my mouth is getting dry. But yes, it certainly goes to show, in regards to showing the footage when it was aired, that it was part of the long-term storytelling, and that it was absolutely the 100% correct decision to go with. And during all this stuff with Tony Khan in the neck brace, hopefully this doesn't get me struck. But I do want to play some of this that he said, and yeah, courtesy of AJ Raider, who sent me this, but I did see it on X. But
not been a challenger brand that has gained as much market share as AEW in many, many, many years. We are like the Pepsi of pro wrestling, and we're up against a really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW, like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE's like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. And
cold as ice. Let's hear that again. Actually, let's play from this one. Hold on.
You know, AEW, we've been doing this for 5 years. We are the most successful sports startup since the AFL.
This is fact. Which is going to lead me to my next point.
Pre-merger, there has not been a challenger brand that has gained as much market share as AEW in many, many, many years. We are like the Pepsi of pro wrestling, and we're up against a really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW, like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE's like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. And I'm really proud of what we do down here. You know, AEW, we've been...
My boy, Tony Khan.
Pay homage to the man. Woo! I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up. We hope you have it.
Abso-fucking-lutely, Flair. So, that brings me to my next point here, part of the notes. So, I believe it was this past week, or possibly the week prior, Forbes magazine came out and rated AEW the third most valuable combat company. First is UFC, then it's WWE with $8.6 billion value, and then AEW, only 5 years after their founding, $2 billion. Okay, so less than 4 times the value of WWE, which has had 50 plus years. If you want to go sort of official, well, actually, we can say we start with the 80, like 1980. But it's under 50 years if you want to take that. But then there's WWF, and then there's also the territories that were absorbed and so forth. So to say 50 years, I don't think is bad. But you could, again, argue, WWE didn't start to be good until, they started to show up on TBS. Or 1983 with the first WrestleMania. But in 5 years to accrue a $2 billion value, that says a lot. Not only about their intelligence of pro wrestling, but also the understanding that there is a desire to have alternatives. And AJ did say it earlier, is that WCW did force WWE to compete. And that is a good thing. Again, this right now is the best time to be watching wrestling, I think, because you have wrestling shows literally every day of the week. And then sometimes you'll have 3-4 pay-per-views in a month from various companies, of course, but competition creates quality. And just to go to show again that these WWE drones fail to recognize that. They would rather actually have one company have a monopoly rather than having multiple companies that compete with each other and force each other to improve their product. That's, like a free market. But you have these idiots, and that's what they are, who want to see AEW fail. And really, until AEW got on the map, we were getting the same old with WWE. That can't be denied. It became stale, boring, and really just a waste of time. But it's just amazing that people would want to see a competitor destroyed because of their ego, because their small penis. I don't know what it is, but we're going to be breaking down that psychologically shortly. What's also funny about these individuals, we're saying that Forbes was lying, that somehow Tony had paid Forbes off to make it sound like AEW was, that they had a $2 billion value. This is the delusion that these individuals will go to try to convince themselves and others that WWE is the best and that anything that's competition, that they consider competition, although they won't admit it, is bad for pro wrestling. And it's funny, though, because you have all these WWE drones saying, oh, well, it's just a mud show and like it's an indie thing and it's second rate, developmental. But if they really didn't consider it, competition towards WWE, then they wouldn't see it as a threat at all. The thing is, though, they reveal themselves in their fucking mental retardation, is that they do see it as a threat. And here's the psychological aspect. This is essentially the reaction that these individuals have, is basically cognitive dissonance, because they're confronted with uncomfortable facts that force an emotional reaction that rejects reality because it challenges their worldview. So they're tacitly admitting that they do see AEW as competition. So it's not this small-time developmental thing. It's something that actually, and this wouldn't be the case if they hadn't forced WWE to start to improve their own product. They clearly are a threat. They can't stand the idea. And because of mental retardation, maybe feelings of nostalgia, it's certainly a psychological response. They will say AEW is terrible. But they know it's not. They know that AEW is where the best wrestle. Simple fact. And they feel personally attacked because they've invested so much time into it, and they don't like the idea that there's a better product out there. So they're being disingenuous about their stance on AEW. So they know so there's multiple possibilities here about these e-drones. Cognitive dissonance, and again, they're being disingenuous. They know the product's better when it comes to pro wrestling, and that's where I have to make the differentiation. They know the product's better in pro wrestling, do see it as a threat, and they deny reality, try to gaslight others, and say it's bad. So totally disingenuous, knowing that the product's better. Then you have the retards that don't even watch, and yet somehow still see AEW as a threat. And they'll say it sucks. Is that correct? Is that how the greasy one says it? It sucks. And that's just literal retardation. That's fucking low IQ shit. You don't watch something, but you instantly say it sucks? Or you hear about something on the internet without experiencing it, and you think it sucks? At Dynasty, when Ospreay finally went against the greatest wrestler of all time right now, Bryan Danielson, sorry. Old habits die hard. It's now rated as the second best wrestling match of all time on Wrestling Observer Network, which, again, a lot of people do put a lot of credence in. And it's not just them, though. It's many other people who have said the same thing. Some people have said it's the best wrestling match they've ever seen. If you didn't watch Dynasty and you're going to claim that AW sucks, you're an idiot. You're a fucking moron. You're being disingenuous again because you're not watching something and yet claiming that it sucks. That's why I held off on recording this for so long, or streaming, because I was advised by someone whose opinion I value, Nicky J. Check him out on his channel. I think he's streaming right now, actually, but probably listening to me too. Shout out to you, Nicky. Is that he said, watch Raw. You know, things have changed since WrestleMania. Things have changed, you know, in WWE. Watch Raw. And have an open mind and let me know if you enjoy it. Maybe you will. And I did, with an open mind, and I did not. And all I saw was the same old, same old. There's a couple things that were at least intriguing for me. Judgment Day, just a little bit. First of all, fucking, what's his name? Dom. Apparently he got hurt. He's going to be out for a few months, which is unfortunate. I never want to see anyone injured in the ring. But damn it, man, how long have you been at this, and why do you sound so terrible on the fucking mic? Meanwhile, you've got the Paul brother who's fucking, I got to say, in the short time that he's been learning wrestling, the guy's, he's enjoyable to watch. And he certainly can talk. And it's just like, Dom, your dad's Ray. How the fuck did you not get taught this? Or why did you fail so badly at picking up the traits that fucking were around you your entire childhood? So let's get back to the chat real quick. That's something else that reminded me. This is, okay, so here's the funny thing. Bam says 683,000 people ratings on Wednesday is hardly something to brag about. Why is it that once AEW's started up, that's when people started to, when these WWE stands started to look up at the ratings number? And again, okay, what about Wembley? That I think certainly showed what they're capable of. I thought it was a long shot, to be quite honest. I was doubting Tony about Wembley, that he could fill it, and all these fucking morons, WWE cocksuckers. Oh well, they're never gonna fill it. They're never. Oh well, it's only 30,000. It'll never be better than more full than WrestleMania. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, they set a world record. And to counter that, what does WWE do? They count their numbers for 2 fucking days. Get the fuck out of here. So AEW has done well with the numbers. We also have to consider that some of the cities that they've now cut out of their tour, their tours, are cities that there really isn't that much interest in. And they've just got to be a little smarter when it comes to booking arenas, which, by the way, which a lot of people seem to forget, is WWE got into it with a bunch of venues and basically forced it that AEW could not do a promotion there basically for at least a month after they had done a promotion there as well. They've finagled their way to convince them that they really shouldn't show AEW shows and such, which is so underhanded and despicable, but it is typical WWE style. And we have seen shows. I think that this past Wednesday was booked, was sold out. And it's funny that they'll look at AEW. Oh, this place is empty. Blah blah blah. Look at some of the fucking WWE shows. You could say the same thing about those. So it's very disingenuous. Again, thank you for proving my point, Bam. But very disingenuous to have this whataboutism and oh, look at AEW. It's like, well, we could look at you, WWE, and we could say similar things. There is obvious interest. There is negotiations going on. Oh, by the way, on that, JD from New York, I haven't watched his shit in ages, but unfortunately some of his shit does pop up on my timeline from people tweeting about how stupid he is. And he was claiming that it was fact that Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD, was going to be dropping AEW. That certainly didn't come about. Worst takes ever. Biggest triple nose cocksucker around. Probably pissed off that he got his AEW media access revoked, the press access, whatever the fuck they call that. And it's just so biased, it's fucking pathetic. And again, it's JD from New York. The guy fucking cheats on women. He fucking he'll say some dirty shit about the women of WWE. Remember when that kerfuffle happened? And even Jade came out and fucking roasted the shit out of him. And meanwhile, now she's on WWE. Is he saying the same thing now? Let's get back to the chat here. The one and only Casey is Raw, who's got a show on tonight. Talks about video games, wrestling, and other matters. He says, don't talk down on Vince McMahon's 3-foot penis. It might be a wrinkly and veiny, but it's still 3 foot long. But I'm a WWE drone. You certainly are. I mean, your name proves it. You couldn't just be Casey Vidya or something. I don't know, like Casey likes games. No, your Casey is Raw. Okay, so, and again, your logo even emulate, your logos emulate the WWE. So yes, you are a robot. What else we got here? We played that clip of Tony. Great clip calling WWE the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling, and that is just so pertinent right now. And it's kind of interesting because Harvey Weinstein is in the news because his case got overturned, which opens up for more lawsuits. But this guy has his pulse on things here, and it's the perfect time because it's being mentioned on air. People are very, the drones are very much willing to overlook the human trafficking that's been going on, the toxic environment that's existed for decades in WWE, and the punitive actions that have been made towards people who dissented, that may have spoken out. Just incredible. Let's talk a little bit about Windy City Riot. I don't know if you guys watched that pay-per-view, but I did, and it was great. Paying homage to Okada and the Young Bucks. Comes out with the Chicago flag and turns around, and his shirt. He takes it off from his back. No, he had it in front of him, and then he turns around. So he's showing the flag to the audience. Then he turns around, the Chicago flag. Turns around and has Cry Me a River written on the back of his leather jacket. And it was hilarious. It was great stuff. Great moves in the ring. The guy certainly can wrestle. And half of the Chicago crowd was yelling, because this was on Friday. It was 2 days after it was aired on Wednesday, the footage from All In. So half the crowd is yelling, "You got choked out," and the other half is, "No, he didn't." And there was massive heat for Jack Perry, but there was also massive support. And then we got fucking Dynasty, where he comes in, helps the Bucks win the titles. He gets grabbed by security, and then there's that iconic fucking look. They grab him, put him against the buckle, rip off his mask, and it's Jack Perry. And the pop blew the fucking roof off. And and that smirk on his face is just fucking perfect for the character of the scapegoat. And it was just so well done. Long-term storytelling, not like AEW's, from Raw to SmackDown, the whole story could change. But it was extremely well done. This Wednesday, again, what a fucking great show. And again, it got so many eyes on AEW, and it got people talking. People in the NFL and in the media talking about AEW. So basically, that's my assessment on the video being released. I could talk more about it, but there's other stuff. Here we go. So just a few comments about some people, again, these drones on the internet. Tony did an interview where he was asked whether there was a possibility that he at some point, not like immediately, but at some point, would you consider stepping down from your position in AEW? And Tony Khan was like, yeah, it's possible. I mean, eventually down the road. But, then the internet wrestling community starts to say, Tony's quitting. AEW is done. Just fucking retarded shit. Shout out to Video Game X-D, who says, Raw is trash now. SmackDown is where it's at. Back in the day, I'd say 2009, I was watching SmackDown more than Raw. I certainly enjoyed at least at that point. To me, SmackDown was my thing. I don't know what's going on with the draft and all shit. There's a lot of criticism of what's been going on with the draft. But okay, good to know that it's SmackDown where it's at, and that I should ignore the 3 hours of trash on Monday Night Raw. Big news when it comes to New Japan and AEW is Rocky Romero has been named the VP of both, and he's been seminal when it comes actually to doing business between the two. Forbidden Door coming up, that looks fucking great, and yeah, he's been a very, very important person when it came to these negotiations and to arrange this trade of talent, which I absolutely fucking love. I love learning about new wrestlers. I'm not like one of these drones who are like, I don't know who that is on AEW. I'm just not going to watch and stuff. I love seeing new people out there. I want to, be intrigued by something new and say, hey, this guy's amazing. Where did he come from? Oh, he's been established for 10 years. Why the fuck did I not know that? He's been, in Japan and Mexico and all this stuff. And I like that. I don't need 3 weeks or, 5 months of promos of some new person coming to be able to accept them and to watch them for what they're providing. I mean, it takes a very, very simple and retarded mind to think that that's what's required. Certainly didn't happen to me when I saw Undertaker first premiere. What about Chris Jericho in WCW, that is? Because he was wrestling in Mexico prior to that. Did I need a fucking story? No. Did I have friends that, again, we're always reading the dirt sheets saying, this week we're getting this guy, he's been here, and now he's going to be here, and it's going to be great. It's like, I have no idea who that is, but okay, let's check it out. So I don't need, and most people of intelligence do not need that. They don't need all these promos. Hold on, let me bring this up here. Where was that tweet? I think they said it was like there was only 15 minutes worth of wrestling on this past SmackDown. Let me see if I can find this. Fuck, I thought I had it open. Here we go. So SmackDown this week had only 20 minutes and 36 seconds of wrestling, so 17% of the entire show. And that's with one match being a no contest finish. Was rated on Wrestling Observer Network as a 4.27 show. And that's a big problem that people have. It's supposed to be sports entertainment. It's not pro wrestling. But they could do with a lot less sports entertainment and add some more wrestling, because 20 minutes of fucking wrestling, if you're watching that shit, you're not a fan of pro wrestling. Simple as that. AEW doesn't need all these long promos. Can some help at some points? Yes, but there's some fucking fire promos on there. they do what they do best. They do pro wrestling. Now, if you like sports entertainment, I'm not going to say that's okay. I'm just going to say, fine, have your poison, whatever. And I'm saying this, if it's exclusive. If you watch all of them, good for you, because then at least you have more of a stance to speak on the pro wrestling matter. And yeah, the sports entertainment aspect as well. But it's sad that this is what WWE is known for and that people will defend it. Stories can be told with wrestling and in the ring. So for people to claim that it's necessary to have all these promos, and again, 20 minutes of wrestling on a 2-hour show, that's sad. That's fucking sad. Let's see here. A lot of comments in the chat. Good for you guys. Why is Triple H calling it pro wrestling again if it's like 80% sports entertainment? Lights and promos don't get that either. That is true. And I think that some people say the turning point or the end of the last era for WWE was Paul Heyman's induction into the Hall of Fame. And he did say pro wrestling there. They do notice that AEW, that's what they say. And I think that they're trying to garner for a segment of the audience that they've neglected for a long time, which is those that actually enjoy pro wrestling. And you can still have sports entertainment with pro wrestling, but not at this level. It dilutes the sports entertainment dilutes the pro wrestling so much. What was I just going to say? I got so many different things going on in my head right now. Just like WWE did with, back in the day, say, get the F out. Well, you know what? Let's get the W from, the E of sports entertainment out of there. Or, with even their name, WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, just call it World Sports Entertainment, okay? Get the wrestling out, because clearly that's not what they're fucking doing. And speaking of stories, it's a perfect segue, Dave. Although we could, oh my God, there's so much I could talk about. Let's talk about this. So again, stories. So apparently, according to these fucking cultists who love sucking WWE cock, AEW has no stories, and it's all random. Okay, let's go through a fucking list here, okay? This is a list, so bear with me. I got to take a swig here. Without a co-host to take the reins while I have to breathe and, wet my whistle, we will have these small little breaks. But, okay, so you want to go through stories? All right. Young Bucks with Jack Perry taking over the AEW. FTR, Top Flight, and Death Triangle are going to obviously take this as an opportunity to become involved because, again, they hurt their boss. Bastard Pack is doing just amazing stuff. Oh, my God. They didn't say shit, but the way Adam Cole looked at Wardlow on Wednesday, it was just like daggers coming out of his eyes. You could totally tell that they're building up to that. And Wardlow's only with Cole right now because it suits him. But you could have seen the cracks for a while. Oh, I can't wait for this, again, the development of this. But Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, oh, that's going so well. Roderick Strong, currently the international champion. And just the story they tell by looking at each other and just, it's fucking great. And seeing them in the ring is fucking great. Obviously, we're going to eventually have Swerve versus Will Ospreay. And, Ospreay he's on the track to becoming the best wrestler on the planet. I think he'll take that crown when Bryan Danielson retires, because this is Bryan Danielson's last year wrestling full time. He says he'll never fully retire because he'll keep doing spots, But this is his last full year because he wants to concentrate on being with his family and so forth, rightfully so. Something that AEW and Tony Khan allows all their wrestlers to do, rather than WWE that keeps them on the road for fucking ever while they neglect their kids and don't even see them grow. Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale. Nightingale now the TBS champion, and they've got previous history and stuff. It's building up quite nicely. I mean, I could just... Okay, so... I mean, I got so many points here. Athena and Billy at the ROH domination before wanting to take over AEW. And we've got Red Velvet and Queen Aminata, who's getting in the mix there. Undisputed Kingdom is fucking setting themselves up for some good matches. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland isn't over yet. Copeland, the TNT champ. We may see a heel turn from Eddie Kingston to win back the ROH title from Mark Briscoe, which was a fucking great match. The Don Callis family looks like it's sort of on track to hit heads with United Empire. And you can see the cracks already forming with Will Ospreay belonging to the Callis family, and his sort of rise to become the face, and especially that last match with Bryan Danielson, just fucking amazing, and the kayfabe that they were selling with Bryan being hurt and even Ospreay being so concerned about his safety. And you had some of these fucking cultist WWE fuckers saying, that was terrible. Bryan is hurt and Ospreay's so sloppy. It's like, that's part of the storytelling method, retard. Again, proving my point that these people are fucking retarded. Thunder Rosa versus Diana. Toni Storm versus Mariah May versus Mina Shirakawa. And Serena Deeb's back. And she is a very, very talented wrestler. In fact, I will say this, and I've said it for quite some time. The AEW women's roster is the best on the fucking planet right now. None comes anywhere close. The amount of talent there is mind-blowing. What else we got? I've been looking forward to this. Best Friends and Orange Cassidy storyline. There's the split, and we might even see Orange Cassidy go heel. Let's see where it plays. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. There's Chris Jericho in his newest incarnation as the Learning Tree, and going against Hook and actually winning the FTW championship. And obviously there's going to be some Taz involvement in there as well. Even calling to change the name of the belt. He's such a good bastard, fucking Chris Jericho. What else we got? Samoa Joe, who did just such great work as champion, carried that title so well, helped so much with storylines, and the guy's a fucking badass, man. At his age, the guy can move amazingly, and he knows how to... He's got great promo skills. He knows how to tell a story in and out of the ring, and he's still around and probably wants some vengeance. Hangman Adam Page wanting to return to beat Swerve. Maybe there'll even be a three-way with Ospreay. And again, the story that Adam Page told with Swerve breaking into his house, taking a photo inside, and then that match that they had after at the pay-per-view, and you had fucking Page stapling his kid's picture that he drew onto Swerve's face. That match was so bloody, but that was where the blood was perfectly acceptable. It was something that story, not a 20, 30-minute promo. It was a story that was told, in 5 minutes at most on a promo on TV, and certainly was told in the ring. Just epic storytelling. Now we've got Bullet Club Gold holding the Undisputed Trios title. And the Acclaimed, who lost against them, obviously going to want to reestablish themselves. But House of Black is certainly in contention for the Trios title. Grizzled Young Veterans, they're now signed to AEW. And they're actually going to be they're scheduled to go against the Acclaimed, I believe, this Wednesday in Winnipeg, and a lot of people have been asking for them to be on AEW, to sign with them. So a lot of people are getting what they want. To a lesser extent, and this is more on ROH, but there's still that sort of crossover. Despite the divide of Johnny TV, a.k.a. Johnny Nitro, a.k.a. all the different names he went by, Johnny Mundo and Lucha Underground, with Taya Valkyrie versus Dalton Castle, which I found a very entertaining story. There's Copeland versus Malachi. That could be told really well. Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk, he fought against Ospreay the other day, and that was a fucking incredible match on Wednesday. And that guy is on his, on the rise again. Unfortunately, recently announced after, I think it was this past Wednesday, that Hobbs got injured. And I think it's 7 weeks he might be out. He hurt his knee slamming into the post, basically, into the turnbuckle post area. And it's legit hurt, unfortunately. And this guy was just coming up again and really establishing himself as the powerhouse that he is. Powerhouse Hobbs. The guy's a fucking machine. Speaking of machines, you've got fucking Brian Cage. And he's doing great work. And there's so much potential with that guy as well. There's so many stories that could be told. And this brings me to Maxwell J. Friedman. A lot of these fucking WWE trolls and idiots were saying that it's guaranteed that he's left AEW and he's going to be popping up at WrestleMania. A lot of radio silence from those fuckers now. Where are you guys, huh? Was he going to pop up on WrestleMania? Well, where was he? He was, however, recently seen at Dynamite this past Wednesday, backstage. He had to speak with executives and so forth. Still nothing confirmed whether or not he's going to re-sign with AEW, but he's around, and he's certainly not in WWE, as many drones said he absolutely guaranteed would appear there. So Kenny Omega is obviously and finally ready for some combat again. Great to know that this guy's health has bettered. And he had I can't even pronounce the word. Diverticulitis? Somebody help me out here. Diverticulitis? It's the same thing that Brock Lesnar had. And he's now cleared for wrestling, going to be in his hometown this Wednesday. Britt Baker's coming back. She's been doing some photo shoots and stuff. Smoker. Fucking smoker. Jamie Hayter, everyone's been clamoring for her return. And there have been others who have been injured and such that, again, many people have been very much looking forward to their return. Roosh has been getting better. I think he's cleared now. He's got his visa issue figured out. But La Facción Ingobernable, it's going to be great. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of the Hispanics. I want to see more of the lucha style. because it's definitely good stuff. Hijo del Vikingo, my God, that guy is fucking incredible. There's just so much in AEW. Yeah, I'm. I had to take a drink too because my voice. Give me a sec. I will say this. I think I'm going to mention it earlier, but Sting's last match, that's the way he deserved to go out. Okay, as a champion. And it was a great match. It was a fucking great match. It was enjoyable. There was some closure, and there was a sense of satisfaction from fans of the sport and fans of Sting that this is how it should have happened, right? Not this fucking humiliation ritual that he was forced to do with fucking Triple H at WrestleMania. Just fucking disgusting. And a lot of people don't. I mean, it was just mentioned in passing on WWE. I think it was on Raw. Just one line from Michael Cole. Oh, Sting is retired. We congratulate him. Blah blah blah. A great job there for someone who certainly is still in their video catalog library and who did come back to unfortunately go through a humiliation ritual. But he did. Seminal professional, Sting. Steve Borden, hats off to you. Let's see what else. We can save those notes for later. You know what? Fuck it. Let's open up the Skype lines. If someone wants me to use StreamYards instead, just let me know and I'll activate StreamYards. Whatever's clever. I do need a break to roll a joint and to relax a bit while I listen to other people's opinions. So feel free to call in. You can reach me on Skype at Devious Dave Rose. Somebody let me know if they want StreamYards open. And if there's anyone on Discord who wants to connect, we can always do a call on there. But I've spoken for quite some time, and I do need to, again, smoke a bit and keep my mouth from drying out. Let me also look at the chat here. I know that Video Game XD has been saying several things for a while. Been trying to stay focused on my notes because if not, I get distracted and I'm all over the place. So I just made myself available on Skype. Somebody let me know if they want to call in via some other method. What else? There's a few clips, actually, that I was thinking about playing, but I didn't want to. Well, fuck it. If I get struck, I get struck. But, again, this channel's not monetized. And yeah, if you want to see more of these shows, feel free to donate. Links pinned in the chat there. What else? Warner Bros. Discovery was extremely happy with the Dynamite numbers this past week. And again, there is this negotiation. It's rumored that HBO Max is going to be the streaming service for AEW shows and pay-per-views. And Tony has already said that AEW content, previous matches and their library, essentially their catalog of shows, is going to be available starting 2025. Which I think is great. All right. Let's just go through the chat here, see what I can see. Diverticulitis, thank you very much. Latino Heat. Still speaks better English than the Greasy Illegal, who lives in New Jersey. WWE is overrated, says Video Game XD. Sad truth is, still him, sad truth is, people and the market would rather watch sports entertainment. Sorry, I got some glare on my screen. Lights and promo over actual wrestling. People have bad taste. That is very true. And I can't remember who would try to argue with me the other day. Could have been AJ. But saying that WWE is not for casuals. What are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely it is for casuals. A, you've got the 3 hours allowance, and certainly that allows for people to pass through and be like, oh, wrestling, I remember wrestling when I was a kid. Let's see what this is. I wonder if Hulk Hogan is still there or some shit like that. Absolutely, it's made for fucking casuals. That's why there's so much fucking talking, to bring up to speed the people who are too dumb to actually watch pro wrestling but think that they actually like pro wrestling. It's as simple as that. Warriors go out on their shield, yo. I don't know who he's... that's Spartan King of Texas. I don't know what he's referring to. Sports entertainment has a bigger market, apparently, says Video Game XD. Takes out all the lights, promos, and filler of WWE's wrestling. You really need to learn punctuation. This is terrible. But WWE's wrestling ain't that good of a show. It certainly is not. It certainly is not. Meanwhile, we get championship defenses on TV. We don't have to wait for a pay-per-view, or we don't have to wait months for the actual title to be defended. You get that on fucking TV. That's a gift, I think. I think it certainly does put more importance on the titles. Seems like some people are a little shy. I know that some people have opinions, but hello, you're not calling in. Let's hear from Tony Khan, actually. Or tell me if you want StreamYards. Do I need to fucking set up StreamYards? You got to tell me if you want to come on. Oh, you can't today, says Video Game. Yeah, sure thing. Ken, take it away, Ken.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So let's hear from Tony, actually, about the Meltzer driver.
Because of that devastating Meltzer driver, which has been rebranded,
well, honestly, guys, they changed the name a couple months ago to the Tony Khan driver. Maybe I should have seen it coming in hindsight.
Wait, you knew they
That's fucking brilliant.
changed it a couple months ago?
I mean, the clues were there.
They called it the Tony Khan driver. You know, I have a complicated relationship with Matt and Nick and Jack. Jack had been out of AEW for a while. I had sent him on an excursion to our partner in Japan where he did great things. I reinstated him Wednesday night on TBS by his own request. He repaid me by hitting me in the stomach with a microphone.
Yeah.
And then Matt and Nick pulled me up and gave me the Tony Khan driver, which is really a spike pile driver. It's one of the deadliest moves in pro wrestling. It's been banned in a lot of states. It's a
I fucking love you, Tony. This is fucking so good.
legal in the state of Tennessee. And for them to do that to me in front of millions of people around the world and a great audience live Wednesday night on TBS,
He's so good at plugging.
Scared me, and it scared my family, and I just feel really lucky that I'm here at the NFL draft and with the Jaguars.
And we have something stupid said in the chat. We certainly have to dispel the stupidity. Tony Khan is the worst seller in the history of selling. No, there's worse. There's worse. But I can say one thing. It could have been better. Could have been better. But come on, man. It's fucking hilarious. Can you ignore that one thing just to go along with the fucking story? Yeah. I mean, he could have taken the punch to the stomach better. But he certainly, again, took the pile driver well. And his dad coming out, that was just fucking icing on the cake. That was great. Shahid Khan, great mustache. But yeah, that was just fucking great. The concern, and this allows for Tony to be written out of WWE while he is AEW, and to be able to resume what's going on with all his other teams and businesses that are happening, and allows for a story to be told in AEW.
And able to still be working at the Jaguars and AEW right now.
Yeah, and you could hear the folks who came to your assistance yelling, what the hell are you doing? This is a billionaire. You got to be careful.
His father, Shad, came into the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, does Shad tell you, like, you got to stay out of the ring? Like, is he concerned for your well-being here?
No, he was very angry at the people that assaulted me. My dad loves AEW, and he's a big fan of what we do Wednesdays on TBS and Saturdays, just like tomorrow night here in Jacksonville on TNT every week.
Yeah, it's 3 hours tonight, baby.
He watches every show, and he never expected something like that.
Because
I love it. Fucking great. What else we got? Spartan King says Sting, the fake Warrior, the fake Crow, the fake Joker, overrated. I disagree. And I think that he did extremely well in AEW. And that's the way that he chose that he wanted to go out. Who the fuck are you to fucking say that sort of shit, man? The guy was the face of WCW for a long time. I love Surfer Sting personally. And, yeah, his last match was just great, especially to see his kids out there, again, dressed Surfer Sting and Wolfpack Sting. Wolfpack for life. Ooh, yeah. But yeah. Also, what does Spartan King say? That was terrible. You could tell that was going to happen just looking at his facial expressions when he got into the ring. The worst, Joe. Doesn't take it away from me, brother. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'll say it again. Dave Meltzer gave the match on Dynasty between Ospreay and Danielson 6.5 stars. Again, it basically is the second highest rated match on their website in the history of professional wrestling, just behind Okada and Omega 4, which was a fucking great match. So yeah, there's that. Spartan says, have you ever seen someone fall backwards from getting hit in the gut? More people double over. Yes. I've already admitted that, yeah, he could have sold it better. Okay. But the storyline's progressing. And, okay, so you don't like Tony? Well, now he's written out. Okay, now we've got the EVPs to carry on the story. Okay. And, again, they're one-time buddy. With Omega coming back this Wednesday, maybe he disagrees. He's even said he doesn't like being an EVP because he likes to resolve problems by fighting. And he spoke about this recently on his Twitch stream. So, yeah, there's a lot of storytelling that could certainly take place, and that will. What else we got?
Mix AEW and the NFL.
Oh yeah, this was aired earlier this week.
Such is life when you mix AEW and the NFL. Tony Khan, hang in there, buddy. Hang in there.
That was from the Jacksonville Jaguars draft room during the draft pick on Thursday. Great stuff. Okay, could he sell better? Yeah. But it's just fucking funny. King Khan is in the chat, says, I watch AEW for the wrestling and I watch WWE for the commercials. Cry some more, WWE Marks. Oh, shit. That certainly deserves fucking respect. Damn, hitting hard and hitting low, but I love it. And there's nothing wrong with punching down. Absolutely nothing. But thank you for, joining us here today. That is kind of funny that you mentioned that because when I was watching WWE in the past, sometimes the commercials were better than fucking watching the show. You're speaking from truth there, man. I can't argue that. But, yeah, all right. Spartan King says, I like AEW, but Tony is the worst thing about the company. Needs to stay behind the scenes. Okay. Here, let's do this. Tony Khan was actually rated as the best booker for the year. I want to find this clip for you because what what's his name? Fucking. Oh, man. Why am I forgetting his name? Dana White. Sent him a message, a voicemail on. I gotta find this. So he sent him a voicemail about that this year, or was it last year, that Tony won and Dana didn't as the best booker. So I gotta find this clip because that's what explains it the best. Where the fuck is it? I should have had this clip ready. Damn it. Okay, I'll have to do a Google search to find it. It's not fucking popping up. But it was just a very funny clip. Yeah, here it is. So what was this? Yeah, so there we go. It's from the podcast, My Mom's Basement. Mom's Basement.
Voicemail for the people.
Yeah.
From the time you were here, you played a voicemail for me. Can we play the voicemail for the people?
Yeah.
From Dana
Yeah,
himself? Because this is
I'll get it out. Yep.
honestly hilarious and very. It speaks to like who Dana is, like kind of off camera, I guess, but it is who he is on camera too.
Well, so last year I was fortunate. I won some awards in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and thanks to the great fans voting, and Promoter of the Year was an award I won, and Dave Meltzer had some quotes about it.
Here,
so
I'll hold it up to my mic.
I can hold it up to your microphone.
Yeah, I'll go like this.
Sure.
You know, it's funny. Today, Dave Meltzer wrote a story about me going to Jacksonville, and he's like, obviously completely against it. And he says, for all the people that were bitching and wondering why Dana White didn't win Promoter of the Year last year, now you know. And I'm like, if I didn't win, who the fuck won? I looked it up, and it was you. I was like, well, listen, if somebody's going to fucking win it, let it be fucking Tony.
Pretty good. Pretty cool.
Dana's awesome. That was a great message to get. And my reply to that is honestly, put that on my tombstone, Dana.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You can put that on my tombstone. I'll say it right now. That to get that from him. And I have so much respect for Dana and all the success of the UFC.
That's fucking great. Let's go back to the list of notes here. So nobody's calling my Skype line. Again, nobody's told me if they want StreamYards or Discord. I'm guessing people are a little too shy maybe to call in, or maybe they realize I'm absolutely correct, and them being WWE marks, they just can't hold a candle to this intellectual giant that is called Devious Stavros. Understandable, but still will be called out. Because again, here's your opportunity. You want to dispute anything I fucking said? Let's fucking go. After all, seen as I'm saying things that might be pissing people off. Hello. Great. I was trying to play a clip. Let's try it again.
Hey, you, let's fight. Them's fighting words.
That's right. That's why it's fucking called Fighting Words Podcast. Let's fucking go. You got a shit-ass take like fucking JD from NY, or fucking the Coward of Boston, Joe Cronin? Bring it on. You want to show yourself to be part of the cult of WWE, loving your sports entertainment, yet having no knowledge whatsoever of pro wrestling, yet claiming you do? Call the fuck in. Stand your ground and prove your point. But chances are you realize that you are in the shadow of somebody who is greater than you, and obviously much better. And as such, you just can't stand the idea of coming into the spider's web. Anywho, Video Game XD says, WWE has its moments, AEW has the wrestling. Absolutely, it's where the best wrestle. And I'm very excited to see Will Ospreay and what he does with AEW. Just great stuff. Also, that leads me to talk about soft ground wrestling. Now, I'm not too sure if you guys are aware of this, but it's not even legit yet, but they're trying to be. There's a place in Uganda that takes in orphans that have died, whose parents have died during the civil wars and due to mine explosions and such. And they've started a promotion called Soft Ground Wrestling. And they don't even have a ring, real ring, but they wrestle on soft ground, usually muddy. And Will Ospreay has donated a bunch of money to them to actually get an actual wrestling ring. And you've got a whole movement now to try to get donations to Soft Ground Wrestling to buy these kids beds, be able to provide them with at least 3 meals a day, shoes, clothing, and to encourage a better life and a happier life through pro wrestling, which is fucking incredible. And there's big talk that, because Will Ospreay's talked about this online, that he is going to be visiting Soft Ground Wrestling for a match. And it's so much for these kids and stuff to be able to see that, and that there is interest in this promotion. No matter how, how basic it might be, there's this love of pro wrestling, and you have genuine people with big hearts that are helping them out. And it's possible that Ospreay is going to win the international championship, and at that point he will voyage to Uganda for a spot there, which I think would be absolutely great, and it would just make their day and make their year, these kids. But just really good stuff going on right now with wrestling. And, WWE's done similar stuff where you had I think it was, also in Africa, those kids who made their own titles and stuff, and they were imitating the, Roman Reigns entrance and Paul Heyman, and they went viral, and the WWE sent them actual titles and such. And again, this makes a big difference to these people's lives. I think it's just fucking great that this universal language of pro wrestling, can transcend borders, language, cultures. And it's just great to see when people in the industry give back. Just absolutely. Back to the chat here. What else we got? Much respect at Dave Rose. Expose the marks. I've got to. And again, going back to how I started this show is that, so AEW first starts out, I'm like, yes, I'm so happy. There's an alternative. Got Young Bucks there. You got Cody there. There's so much potential, basically, is what I said to myself. And at that point, I'd stopped watching WWE. I just couldn't watch them anymore. And I used to watch and take notes and then go on to Joe Cronin's show and stay on for a couple hours at least, trying to break down what I just saw. And it got to the point where it was worse than a job. I can't really say that. It was just worse than torture, I'd say. There's nothing bad with having a job. I'm saying that basically it got torturous. It just was too much. 3 hours, one fucking night, just torturing myself and watching absolute garbage. Again, having to endure people that would bark like seals and clap because they didn't have any idea of what wrestling was or didn't care. And it got too much. I couldn't spend that much time anymore and didn't want to. I didn't want to spend that time watching something I didn't like. And again, that always blows my mind. Well, it doesn't, because I know the reason. Again, hate watchers, whether it be me or somebody else, it's like you really show yourself to be low IQ garbage, because why would you watch something you don't like? So when it came to WWE, I was like, no, enough's enough. I can't watch this no more. You know, we get the premiere of AEW, and it got me hooked from the get-go, and I was just so happy that there was an alternative medium in North America that I wanted to watch. Really didn't want to watch TNA at that point. I wasn't very happy with the way things had turned out after Dixie left, and again, the purchase by the Canadian company, and Billy Corgan being forced out, all that sort of shit. And ROH wasn't doing it for me, and they had their problems as well. But AEW, I was just so happy I had a refreshing new product. And again, I like pro wrestling. So there was a bunch of people. I didn't know who Orange Cassidy was. I looked into him once I found out, when I learned about him on AEW. I didn't need well-established wrestlers, for the past 30 years to show up there. Although Jericho, but there was new people I'd never heard of, people I'd only heard a little bit of. And it was just so refreshing. I didn't need ages of fucking promos and storytelling to get invested. And that's what a real pro wrestling fan does. They don't need that. Excuse me. So I was just so happy. And more importantly, at that point, I was like, good. Competition for WWE, a product that I watched since I was age 4. That's one of my first memories of wrestling is 4 years old, moved into the new apartment, seeing Hulk Hogan on fucking the television in white tights, okay? Again, I've watched for a long time. I used to watch the Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon show where the voices were absolutely trash. Go back, if you've never seen it before, pull up a clip on YouTube and you'll be aghast at the accents there. Roddy Piper certainly does not sound like Roddy Piper, nor does Hogan or anyone else there for that matter. But I was around for that. I was around for the Goonies and all those WWF stars being in the music video and stuff. Yes, there was a time where there were music videos out there, and music would be played on TV with a video accompanying it to tell some sort of story. I know that doesn't really happen these days, but the 80s were a good time. What else? AEW is underrated as hell. People need to watch up, says Video Games XD. Osprey's haircut makes him look like one of those douchebags found in Abercrombie and Finch catalog. Okay, I look at this guy's wrestling style, and he is on track to becoming the GOAT. And he did this actually at Dynasty. I don't even know what this move is called, but it looks sort of like a Guile flash kick. Or you've seen some people who do parkour where they'll run up to a wall, they'll sort of like jump, put one foot on the wall and then flip. He did that to fucking Danielson during their match. It was fucking incredible. This guy is incredible. And it's infectious. His charisma, the joy that he's showing is infectious. He's so happy to be in WWE, and Tony Khan really gave him a sweet deal, but it's well-deserved. And it also shows how understanding Tony Khan is about family situations. Meanwhile, Jade Cargill gets signed at the WWE, and she expressed concerns about being able to see her family and her mother and such. And the response from Triple H was, "We're your family now." Again, they reveal who they are by the schedules that they impose on their wrestlers. Meanwhile, these wrestlers have family, and a lot of their relationships end in divorce. Surely can't be the work schedule. Video Game XD says, people don't know how to let WWE go. Excellent. That's exactly it. And move on with another product. Fucking spot on. He continues. They're attached to it like their childhood Barney in the fucking dinosaur. Like their childhood Barney the fucking dinosaur or something. They're precious WWE. Laugh my ass off. Let it go. Fag. Oh, fam. Sorry. It's the stupid little emoji that's covering the rest of the word. I hate that fucking YouTube does that. See, that's the thing. I talked about it earlier, Video Game XD, is that these people, for several different reasons that I outlined, look back at WWE sometimes with a sense of nostalgia. Look, people, the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era is not coming back, okay? TKO is focused on their product. They're making massive amounts of cuts. Several people released recently, and some people claim to have quit, like Jinder Mahal. Apparently, but not unsurprisingly, it had to do with discrimination and bigotry towards Indians. And while we know for a fact that Triple Nose actually has said that, he's referred to Latino wrestlers as bumblebees because in The Simpsons, there's the Bumblebee Man character who is always made to look like a fool and being featured on Mexican TV. So that is something well known that he referred to wrestlers as bumblebees. So it's not difficult to realize that he would also be just as bigoted and discriminatory towards Indian wrestlers as well. XD says, WWE is not the same show or production we grew up with. That's absolutely correct. How is it so difficult to fucking understand that? Says, they are the EA Sports of pro wrestling. Fuck. I'm going to have to give you another fucking sound effect on that one.
Pay homage to the man. Woo! I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up. We hope you have it.
And this brings me back to my point is when AEW launched, I was like, good. So it'll finally push. Yes, I said finally twice. WWE, a product that I watched so long that, again, is seminal to my childhood. Maybe it'll make it better. Maybe it'll make me want to watch again because I used to like to watch. And again, competition just creates better products. I was of that mind. And I didn't see WWE as a threat to AEW, as something that would certainly keep their feet to the fire to force them to maintain a good show. So that, again, would have... Competition's good, people. Okay, so I never wanted WWE out of business. Even this is way before I knew about all the sexual allegations and all that sort of shit. I never wanted them to go out of business. I thought their existence, first of all, and their shoddy fucking work over the past several years, forced AEW's creation, and that this. Again, the creation of a new wrestling enterprise would force them to go back to a formula that actually would attract me as a viewer, and never once shat on anyone that watched WWE. Was quite patient and I guess understanding of people who didn't want to watch AEW and only watched WWE and such, and didn't want WWE to go out of business and didn't want these people to be restricted from what they enjoyed so much, even if I didn't enjoy it. But WrestleMania week proved to me that, these people, or at least a lot of the cultists the cultists are retarded. Not everyone who watches WWE is retarded. And again, especially those that, and again, especially those that watch multiple products. If you like pro wrestling and you like sports entertainment and you like the variety that's currently provided, again, the best variety, point to another time in history that you had so much wrestling available to you on TV, through the internet. Never. Okay? The competition is good. So I never wanted these, any competition of AEW to go out of business, but these drones are fucking brain dead. And they would rather see AEW totally destroyed so that they can go back to a product that's subpar, that's absolute shit. For what reason? So they could say, oh, well, nobody beats the billionaire Vince. Well, he's gone. Well, nobody beats the Khan. No, the better one's in AEW. He's gone. And they sold their stocks. So it's a good chance that they're going to need that money to defend themselves against these allegations that are coming out. Also, Nick Khan used to work for the CAA, California Actors Association, I believe, and he left that to go work as the chief, I think it's financial officer of WWE. And soon after that happened, what happens? All these allegations of cover-ups of sexual abuse and such at this actors group started coming out. And then we hear the same thing about Nick Khan while in WWE. It stinks to high heaven. And it looks very probable this guy's been part of that toxic environment for a long time, whether it be in the CAA or in the WWE. So it looks like both Vince and Nick are prepping to have to pay. Now, I haven't confirmed this yet. I saw a rumor about, well, I don't even know if it's a rumor. I haven't been able to confirm it yet. But I did see a statement on Twitter today that said that Vince McMahon had hired the same defense attorney as Harvey Weinstein did. So that I've got to look into that. It's interesting. I wouldn't doubt it. But, you never know. Let's get back to the chat here. Shout out to the 20 viewing. Looks like nobody wants to call in. They're too scared. Too scared. WWE is all right, says Video Game XD. That's it. It's okay currently. Okay. Okay. Got to tell you that watching Monday Night Raw this week, I want my 3 hours back, to be quite honest. And I can't accept this. Oh, it was the worst in 3 weeks and so. No. No. This is supposed to be the new era. Isn't that what Triple H called it? Or is it the same old, same old? The 2K video games are better than the actual show. I cannot deny that. I mean, on top of the fact that you can actually set up, all these dream matches and stuff. You've got the downloadable content or your own creation or creator content. Game's fucking fun to watch. I've never played 2K24, but it looks like they certainly fixed the bugs from the past 5-10 years, or at least some of them. But yeah, fucking the realism in there, the customization, yeah, fucking looks great, and it's got the realism and such too. I'm not going to be shamed about it. I love fucking Fight Forever by AEW. Great stuff. More arcadey, but I like it. And it's a product that I support. But you got that. But yeah, going back to the whole competition and stuff, this is a difference between me and a lot of other people, or I should say drones. I can't even call them people. They're just NPCs. But competition makes everyone better. Simple as that. I don't want WWE to go out of business. And that's not because of nostalgia or anything like that. It's because I believe that they're going to keep AEW on the straight and narrow to continue to prove why they're the better company when it comes to pro wrestling. Sports entertainment, they don't really focus on that. But I love the pro wrestling aspect. And again, I think the pro wrestling aspect speaks for itself when it comes to the quality of AEW. Damn, I need to take a breath. Just fucking going on and on. And this is why, again, and people say, oh, you're begging for costs. No, I'm begging for me to just be able to, sit back and smoke a joint for a bit while somebody expresses their opinion. Unless you're, crying right now into your pillow and biting it as you usually do, and writing in your Dear Diary about how a mean man on the internet said words that hurt your fifis, But you got the opportunity here if you want to say something. I'll set up the fucking StreamYards. Maybe that'll entice somebody to call in. But yeah, I to be quite honest, I just want to fucking have a few drinks, catch my breath, fucking smoke a joint, and let you prattle on about whatever it is that you want to talk about when it comes to pro wrestling. Well, about the wrestling industry. You can call in and talk about how WWE is so much better and fucking sports entertainment, shit like that. But I'll set it up right now. Fucking... Let's call this, it's the Fighting Words Podcast, Episode 1. That's what we're going to call it. Costanza, who is part of Generation Failure, says, sounds like anti-WWE propaganda. To me, it sounds like you're retarded. I got under this guy's skin so badly this week. It was hilarious. I made a tweet. He responded about how, he's an idiot. And then he responded, and then he responds again. Fucking, what was it? 3 hours later. He just got under his skin. And for the next 2 days, the guy just kept fucking inundating my timeline, just proving how fucking retarded he is. And, again, you want proof? Listen to his fucking streams. Fucking... just 1 IQ above Bullfrog. But let's get the link here for... where is this? Shibbity bop doo doo. What is this? No audio in crap. No, of course it's fucking working. What are you talking about? Where is the... I'm trying to find the link to share this stupid thing. Not too familiar. There we go. Fucking StreamYards is trash. But, nope. For some reason, my stream is buffering. Oh, there it's back. WWE hasn't been the same since Chris Benoit died, in my opinion, says Video Game XD. And Spartan King puts an arrow up talking about that. Not sure why my video is... hopefully it's not StreamYards. Doesn't seem to have been last time when I used it. But there you go. Okay, you don't like the Skype. There's the fucking StreamYards, if you choose. But yeah, it just sounds to me like we probably have a lot of WWE drones in the chat, probably seething and raging while they try to cope about the truth that I presented them here today. Fuck it. I'm gonna smoke this joint. See if I can find a clip for you to for me to play so that you can listen. Yeah, here we go. Hold on. Someone's messaging me. Oh, it's the one and only Mustafa. You should call in, brother. This guy knows a lot about wrestling. He actually is quite intelligent when it comes to this sort of thing. We disagree politically on everything, but we are the type that can come together on our... And despite the fact that he, from last I heard, being very sort of dismissed on Joe Cronin's show, The Coward of Boston. Or sorry, that's his kid who has that moniker. But yeah, you can call it at any point, brother. And let me know how right I am and how much you appreciate my truth. But yeah, let's play this here.
as Tony Khan becomes the first ever NFL executive in a draft room, shaking off the effects of a pile driver he received on national television in a wrestling ring the night before. As Tony Khan becomes the...
That's fucking great fucking coverage. Okay, that's great exposure. And everyone's in on the fucking joke. Where's that other clip? Oh, apparently there was a tweet earlier this week by somebody who claimed that WWE basically owns the color pink because Mariah May came out in pink on Dynamite, and they're trying to equate her with I can't even remember her name on WWE because she's come out in pink in the past, and it's just, I mean, this exploded on the internet because everyone's like, how can this person be so fucking retarded? Fucking morons. You know, they have no discernment, and either they're idiots. Well, they're always disingenuous, but they're either idiots or experiencing the cognitive dissonance, knowing that when it comes to wrestling, again, the second W in WWE, that AEW blows them out of the water when it comes to pro wrestling. Sports entertainment, totally different story. You like sports entertainment? Might as well watch Days of Our Lives or fucking the NFL, because that's just as scripted or more so than fucking the WWE. But yeah, that's where these panty twisters should be watching. Don't say you like wrestling and then say AEW sucks, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're either lying or you're stupid, or probably a combination of both, which seems to be endemic. What else? Let's quickly check on StreamYards. Nope. Nobody's called in yet. Seems like some scared parties out there. What else we got in the chat? People can watch whatever they want, but currently AEW is the better wrestling show. WWE screams Disney to me, or American Idol. Yeah, and that's why it's made for casuals. You have a lot of flash and show, but little substance. And they do have pyro on AEW and stuff, but recently TKO has been making massive cuts across the board, and that includes trying to get more people into arenas, booking smaller arenas, less pyro, and dismissals of multiple wrestlers and stuff. So, yeah, they're... And it's almost certain that Triple H is at some point going to be sort of forced out because, again, the allegations that follow him and Stephanie as well. So, yeah, it looks like the product, and this is amazing I'm saying this, but the product's going to be diminished even further than it is. And the show won't be as opulent as it's been in the past, which, again, is a major component in sports entertainment. So maybe these fans will realize that there was nothing there. It was all smoke and mirrors anyways. When they realize, oh, the thing that attracted me to the show, because I'm, I've got so much fucking mental retardation that I see something shiny, I'm easily distracted. Now that I don't have the shiny shit distracting me, I see it for what it is. It was something that happened on Sunday. I think I mentioned this earlier, but Cody Rhodes and I believe it was Damian Priest each jumped on the ropes at the same time. It looked like they both tried to do a cutter on each. Well, no, it was, I guess it was was it a cutter? But neck breaker. And they each missed each other, and they just looked fucking terrible, and everyone's fucking laughing on social media about it. And again, 20 minutes at a 2-hour show, about 17% of actual wrestling, which, again, can you call what's on WWE right now wrestling? Because they've been forced to cut out moves. They've been told, to sort of wrestle. And a lot of great wrestlers in WWE who have shown that they're capable of so much more. They're capable of doing some amazing moves that get you really captivated, and they're not allowed to do them. And it's sad. It really is sad that they're hindering their own talent sometimes under the guise of safety, which may or may not be an acceptable answer. It's nice that at least they're willing to say that, but with the number of people that have talents and injured on NXT, hurting their knees, again, it's always the knees. It seems to be that they really don't care about their talent's health too much. Just enough, but not enough. And yeah, so and look at what Tony Khan has done to help his wrestlers, protect his wrestlers, and take care of them. And people say he's a bad boss. Here's the problem with the WWE drones is that they live under Stockholm Syndrome. They, for some reason, first of all, believe that a shitty product is that they should continue to support a shitty product. That this is the best ever, and they're being held hostage, and that they'll protect their hostage taker. This is pure Stockholm Syndrome. It's just insane. It really is insane that these people have this level of mental retardation, that they think also that, I guess they've only experienced this in life, or maybe this is the only thing that they attracted to themselves, is that bosses can only be shitty and like try to fuck you over. There could never, ever be the possibility of a good boss, someone who wants to take care of you, someone who realizes they invested in you and they want the best for you. No, that's not even a fucking possibility. Tony Khan is just a fucking myth. It doesn't even exist. No, Tony Khan is a good guy, and he loves his wrestlers, and he wants the best for them. And people say, oh, well, that's not a good boss. No, you're experiencing Stockholm Syndrome. Okay, you've never experienced, I guess, a good boss or a good job in your life, which is sad, but maybe that's on you. But, yeah, these good people actually do exist in the world, but being beaten down for decades or whatever that you've been watching the WWE, or these people have been watching WWE, they've come to expect shit as fucking caviar, when in fact it's nothing. We've been going for close to 2 hours. Disappointed in those that I thought were going to call in. I guess they don't have the cojones that I do to discuss things in a blunt manner. But, hey, you proved me correct. But I've had fun, and I plan to do this, as I said earlier. Let me just spark up the cigarette. I plan to do this show, ideally, every Sunday afternoon. Early to mid-afternoon. I don't know exactly when, but 1 to 3, something like that. Go an hour or two. I had a lot to discuss this week, so that's why we've gone maybe some calls, maybe some interaction. Obviously, I did respond to the people in the chat there. But be able to sum up the entire week, specifically in AEW's 3 shows, as well as pro wrestling news, and potentially as a prediction show for the pay-per-view that would happen usually on a Sunday for AEW. So I think this is the best, that Sundays is the best day for me. I may do one tomorrow because I really didn't review the shows of this week. A few things I touched upon. But tonight we've got 3 hours of Rampage and Collision. And I'm certainly looking forward to next Wednesday, or this Wednesday coming up, for Kenny Omega's return to Canada in his hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And yeah, that's going to further continue the story. I'm really looking forward to see what happens now with the Bucks and Omega, and how they deal with what's occurred. Just really, really excited to see what's going to be coming up. Costanza the idiot shows himself in the chat again. Just unbelievable. They were founded January 1st, 2019. Fuckhead. And what's he say? AEW is great in 2018. You're an idiot. You're a generation failure. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the retard who's been flooding my timelines because I got under his skin and made a point, and it stings because it's true. He's generation failure. And he's proved that this guy loves air fryers. Doesn't even know how to fucking cook. It's fucking pathetic. But, all right, let's wrap it up. Dem's Fighting Words. Thank you for tuning into the Fighting Words podcast. If you got offended on this show, it's because I was correct, and I made a good point that caused some cognitive dissonance. But that's expected of the low IQ individuals if you enjoy. I hope you guys have a good weekend. But, yeah. Let's wrap it up. There's a bunch of shit going on tonight. There's a UFC fight night. There's bare knuckle fights. You got a few NHL games on tonight. You got Casey's Raw on tonight with his show. You got Foulmouth Ken on with his show. You got the Coward from Boston, his show. Yeah, a lot of stuff to watch, and hope you have a great weekend, and yeah, there's a good chance. Oh, yeah, and obviously AEW, 3 hours tonight. But yeah, there's a good chance I'll be back tomorrow, do a more regular show. Again, 1 to 2 hours, review the week in wrestling, talk some wrestling news, and yeah. On that note, I'm your host, Devious Dave Rose, and as always, we shall see you next time.
Hey, you, let's fight. Them's fighting words.